Another transition question. This time, the transition's kind of in the middle of a sentence, which is weird, but not that weird. So let's just focus on the sentences themselves first, see what we can figure out. Historically, most conductors of major orchestras and opera companies have been European men, but a new, more diverse generation of artists is stepping up to the podium. Mexico's Alondra de la Parra took over as conductor for the Queensland Symphony Orchestra in 2017, and Colombia's Lina Gonzalez Granados did the same for the Los Angeles Opera in 2022. These are examples, right? So thinking about just like the kinds of transitions that you'll see on an SAT, you've got contrasts, you've got continuations, you've got cause and effect, you've got examples. These are our four main categories. So this is clearly fitting into that category of examples. So let's just see if anything matches with that. Well, for instance, here's an example, right? So that's definitely it. Just to kind of talk about the others, in addition would be kind of redundant here because we do have this word and. So it's not really adding anything. In addition just means and. So this wouldn't be a good way to segue between these two ideas. It's not doing anything. And I should say actually, what's really happening when we put the transition here is we really mean that it kind of goes here at the beginning of the sentence. So when we do it with this kind of like double comma, we're interrupting our sentence, but really the transition is still applying, at least in this case, to that space between this current sentence and the one before it. So it might be easier for you to think of it that way if you're having trouble hearing what's going on. Here, though, I think it's obvious that it's examples. So in addition just wouldn't make sense. It's an example. It's got this extra little piece. Lastly, there's nothing about time, so that wouldn't make sense. Granted is just like a way of saying like, I don't know, almost like, I agree with you, but you're also wrong. Like, granted, I can't even think of an example. It just doesn't make any sense here. And I would say that with the weird ones that don't fit neatly into our categories, either they're totally wrong and don't try to force it, which is why I'm not going to come up with an example, or if they're right, it'll be obvious because everything else will be wrong. So this again comes back to this idea for transitions of just like process of elimination is part of the game. You might not have that initial feeling, but you can usually use dumb summaries and summarizing the words themselves, the transition words themselves, to just get a better sense of what's going on. And then, yeah, sometimes you just end up picking a choice merely because it's all that's left, and that's okay.